All right, so why you're here today? Tell me.
Just here to listen.
I want to learn. I'm here to learn. I'm here to improve.
Well, that's better than just listen.
Well, of course, I want to learn.
Yeah, the genius mind. That sounds a lot interesting.
So what is genius mind? Who knows?
I don't know. Is it using the whole brain fully?
Yes. Well, I mean, here's the thing, the potential of the brain. Genius is like addition to the brain. So what's the opposite of genius mind then?
Normal mind?
Well, that's the whole thing. Normal. What's the normal? The average brain is basically our average person is not normal. He's in deep degradation. So if you look at the average brain, it basically got tons of limitations. And genius brain, so there are many types of geniuses, and they work completely differently. Every one of them is completely unique and work in a completely different way. So there's no point to just describe all of them at the same time, but all of them you can tell that you can say that they have certain qualities that basically all of them have, which is just being completely unlimited in the way they think and perceive and understand and operate. And if you actually look at the average mind or brain, which I wouldn't call normal, you call it normal only because everyone around you basically got the same thing, but your brain operates basically on the just 3% of the potential of the brain. So it's not normal, it's deep degradation. Plus people they don't know anything about how to use mind, how to fix mind, how to adjust mind, how to basically expand mind. They know nothing about mind really, or about brain. It's just there's some kind of mess going on all the time in their mind, and it's barely a mind basically in the way how it should be. So you would call it normal, because normal would be healthy and fully 100% operational to its full potential. That would be normal, the way it's designed and created to be. So if it doesn't work like that, it's not normal. But because everyone in deep degradation and everyone got this like weak kind of shadow of itself mind, you call it normal because you have it and everyone else have it. But I wouldn't call it normal. So all geniuses, they don't have these limitations, and the list of limitations is really massive compared to genius mind. Just the way you think and operate and all the limitations, and just the way they operate, the way they see and they perceive, and the speed and the quality and everything is basically not comparable to just what's happening in the genius mind. So there are many types of genius minds, and the way they work completely differently. Like all the geniuses, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and all this stuff, Tesla, they all have completely unique geniuses, completely unique, nothing similar at all, like nothing at all similar, like incredibly unique, but incredibly powerful, all of them. So there are many types of geniuses that you can get in terms of describing their qualities and what they can do. But if you look at the real geniuses, like super geniuses, their potential is basically unlimited. And you, as a normal mind, you don't even know what it means to have unlimited potential. You cannot even imagine, you cannot even start to comprehend what's really going on in the mind of a genius. Like you just cannot even begin, basically. And there are many reasons why. if you look at just the brain itself, I mean, there are so many things we can talk about, but just in terms of genius mind, just to so you can have some kind of idea and understanding. I'm just going to describe today one or two geniuses that I have personally. I have many, I can describe many of them, and all of them have many different qualities. And so I'm just going to describe one of them, maybe two. But again, all of them completely unique, and that's the beauty of it. That's why I'm just blown away myself in terms of just basically for the last years, I was basically really focusing on that and developing and see how it works and basically design and how it operates. It's really understanding how genius works, really understanding how brain and mind works, and how to really untap and unlock the potential. Because that's basically where the key is. Because there are many things you can do genius-like if you actually untap your potential. It doesn't matter if you were born a genius or not. There are many things that you can do that would be genius-like. You would never be complete genius, like in terms of like full-blown, but compared to average, I wouldn't call it normal. I would call it average. You would be like genius, like no question. Like not even, no one would doubt that they would see you as genius, no question, in terms of how you would operate and think and how you would create. So just to give you just some kind of idea of just one genius, how it operates. First, so it's not really, and that's the beauty of it, that it's so unique and so different. It's just like average person, just idea of a genius in terms of how it works is completely unknown to people. Nobody really, if you look at all the geniuses, they never really thought about, or they never talked about, okay, my mind works like this, and they just kind of break down the thought patterns and basically hold the attention, how it works, and basically, like, it never happens. They somehow have it, and they somehow apply it in certain areas, and that's it, and they just die, and everybody at the end, whoa, that was genius, you know? So this is how it works, usually. You know, like usually during their lives, people just say, yeah, whatever, like it's awesome. Sometimes like, you know, Michelangelo and stuff like that, like, yeah, that is awesome, like genius. But in many different ways, a lot of genius is kind of like, you know, but all of them, again, basically, they never talk about, a lot of geniuses just create something and then disappear, and then people really look at their job, look at their work and their creation, and they compare and they see, oh, okay, that was genius. Like some of them, like for example, Tesla, like no one cared. Like he was the greatest, most impactful, most significant inventor and genius like ever. Like not even close, ever. Not even like remotely anyone can come even close in terms of what he have given to humanity. Like we still live on all his creations, basically. He's a father of our civilization, basically, in many different ways. But when he lived, no one cared. Like literally no one cared, and no one like, yeah, whatever, like electricity or whatever. It's like, but no one really studied, like, oh, we need to study it and understand how his mind works and how his brain works. And for me, this is like super interesting, like incredibly interesting, because I know that the potential, if I always thought like, okay, so if I can understand it, like how it works, how brain works, how mind works, if I have to unlock it and basically, 1 second, there is some kind of dude come up. Okay, so no one really did any kind of research in terms of how it works, because they kind of don't see the potential, they don't see the power, they don't see the significance of it when they usually live. They see it at the end, when basically many years after they kind of look at it and things like that. Or if they see the potential, they didn't really, no one really, like Da Vinci or Michelangelo basically three the greatest geniuses, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Tesla. They all, Da Vinci, Michelangelo lived in such a like old age that no one really even had any kind of concept of just like studying mind or brain or stuff like that. There was like no electricity, no negative age in many different ways. So they really couldn't. But even at the age of Tesla, no one really cared. And many different reasons why, but basically, you know, not many people know much about Tesla in terms of what really happened and what was going on. But in terms of studying mind and studying brain and studying genius itself, that was basically one of my passions for a long time, because I saw the potential. And again, my goal was to get as much enhancement as I can get so I can achieve the goal that I want to achieve. And basically there will be a conference with Tesla soon. So Tesla will, when I get to Tesla, it will be by Tesla himself. So, I mean, all these geniuses, like when they're gonna start talking about stuff, like if I tell you like how Michelangelo's genius works, like the scale, the size, like nothing that you can imagine, like nothing even remotely close, the power, just unlimited potential. It just blow you away immediately. Like, and the beauty, like all of these geniuses, the beauty just undescribable, what they see and what they create and how they think. Like, this is not something, this is that kind of level of geniuses cannot be replicated, not even close. It's just unachievable. And I know exactly how it works and all this stuff, but it's like you have to be born with that. And there are many different things like how it all even possible that I know and I have and I've basically discovered because I was so curious about it. And plus it's my past life, so I could really study it as my own. So when it comes to geniuses, no one really know much about it. No one really know anything about it actually in terms of how it works. No one really had this opportunity to study them all, or even one that would be really genius, and one that would, because only genius can actually describe you what's going on in his mind. You cannot really study him by giving him some tests and stuff like that, or just do some brain scans. You will never find out at all anything about it. So just to give you example of just one genius that I have, that how it works. So first, it's basically almost like a golden light coming out of my, well, let me see how would be better. Basically the speed, like here's the thing, it's like, it's a completely different way of perception with this kind of genius. Let me see, actually, in general, if I would get back to talking about genius in general, they don't really think the way we all think, or you all think, in terms of thought patterns. So when a person thinks, it's basically thought pattern from thought to thought. It's basically one line, and with the little dots. This is basically the thought patterns. This is how it works. So they don't really think in that at all, unless they kind of speak or stuff like that. And then you need to understand that genius has got many different levels of how it works. So it's almost like unthinkable speed and quality of just perception and understanding, and basically just how it operates. And it's a norm for them. So for example, with this genius that I have, it's almost like there is no thought patterns at all. It's almost like just a field of energy. And that's the reason why you would never be able to like get to that kind of description with using some kind of tests or brain scans and stuff like that. Well, I'm not sure about brain scans about this type of genius, but probably gonna feel all of the genius would have some kind of like massive energy field probably around their heads. But and again, so every genius is so unique, just so completely unique that it's basically, if you would describe, that's the reason it's so hard to kind of describe them all at the same time, because if you would describe one genius completely, like any one of them, like true genius, like Tesla or Michelangelo or Da Vinci, that kind of geniuses, it would be completely different how it operates, how they operate. Like there is nothing similar at all about them. But yet they achieve the same impossible, this amazing, unlimited potential. And there are so many disadvantages for just not having a full, healthy brain and healthy mind. Because when you think about it right now, just in terms of your brain, if you could imagine like a plum that would be like healthy and juicy, average brain would look like super dried plum with a lot of wrinkles and really a lot of lines and really dried up. This is basically average brain. So you can't really feel your brain as an organ even, because I feel it brain as a whole organ and people don't feel it at all. Maybe some of you feel it. I've never heard of that. But you actually need to fill your whole brain. It needs to be filled with stuff. You need to know how to build it. It's like a muscle, and all muscles need protein to actually build a muscle. If you don't have it, then you're gonna, it's not going to grow, and because of that, you will not get any strength with it. Same with stuff that needs to be in the brain. So you actually feel it as a real organ, and you can actually use it as a full organ for everything that you want to be using it. But again, genius, in terms of how it works, it's almost always it's like there are many different qualities of the normal, healthy brain and mind, not average. I'm talking about higher level, healthy brain and mind. They have naturally potential for a super advanced stuff that you can do, that you would call it a genius, but it's actually normal for you in terms of your actual potential that you can actually achieve and turn on. And so even though if I would tell you about it, you would say, yeah, that's a quality of a genius, and no question, it's a genius if you have that. But genius, what I'm talking about is it's a whole different category, much higher, and it's almost like addition to that. You see what I mean? So, and it's almost always this energetic addition. So for example, with this genius that I'm trying to describe, it's almost like I perceive and operate without thoughts on speed so high that even my mental mind does not even perceive it. And I don't need to. That's the whole thing. That's the beauty of it. Because I can think about many things at the same time in massive volume and quality, and yet my mental mind would be completely empty and not doing anything at all. And yet I don't need to get anything into my mental mind, because I completely operate I'm doing it, it's happening. I already know what's going on when I operate on this kind of scale. I don't need to bring it into my mental mind to kind of break it down and put it into words. Everything happens without any kind of vocalization whatsoever. And that's one of the massive secrets, not secrets, but one of the things that you can actually learn and do, how to speed up everything in terms of your thoughts and how your brain and mind works. Because when you stop thinking about these patterns and talking and all kind of dialogues and all this stuff, when you completely just learn how to turn it off and move to completely different levels of the operation, then everything will just dramatically, like, I don't know, 50, 100 times more powerful. Like, I don't know what's the digit would be, like 20 for sure, like hard to say in terms of, because it depends on many different other things. So my mind it's almost like there's nothing going on in my mental mind. Like literally, it's completely empty, like completely empty and clear. There is no any kind of issues. There is no kind of beliefs or limitations or anything like that. There is nothing on my way. So when I think about it, I always think with full force. And I don't need to even focus on full force because it's instantly done. Like I don't really, there's nothing really like, when average brain thinks, there's so many limitations that you have to go around it all the time, and basically limiting beliefs constantly shuts you down. So for example, you might think about some kind of business or some kind of abundance or something, like something you want to do, and you create a thought pattern there, but your issues or your beliefs or limitations will shut it down and unconsciously, and you will not even notice it, and you will start thinking around it and go into a completely different way. And even though your business idea or your success or abundance or relationship or whatever stuff that you think about were just like a little bit ahead, and you would have amazing idea that you could immediately implement and create and basically manifest, but you got sidetracked into complete garbage and nothing really worked out. And I'm just describing you how actually what's really going on in your mind and brain, and how important it is to actually get this shit together, because it really ruins your life completely and limits you to such a degree that you cannot even imagine, and you just have no idea to even just comprehend fully how limited it is, because on an unconscious level it's happening all the time, and you don't know how many times, and you don't really you don't really track any of it. For you, you just think and think and basically, and sometimes you get to where you want to, sometimes you can create idea and stuff like that, but that was just one example of the limitation of your thinking. And again, there are many different limitations like that. For example, noise, or all these patterns that all the dialogues and all the stuff and all this garbage that's going on that doesn't really lead anywhere. It's like many different things going on at the same time, but you just need to have one that goes in the direction that you want to go. And so when you have all this garbage going on in many different directions, you weaken your potential, you weaken your thought, you weaken your speed, you weaken your creativity, you weaken everything. And your thought really that you actually try to use to get somewhere becomes really weak. And you can't really create anything powerful. Sometimes it just happens because there are many different variations of how mind and brain works. You might just like suddenly just stop thinking about all this garbage and focus on some kind of, I don't know, bug or some kind of leaf. And at the moment you just got suddenly good idea because suddenly all the noise got turned off and you just focused on something different. So there are many different variations of how it works. But this is just example of how incredibly powerful it is to get your mind and brain in order and to actually turn it on fully. Like turn it on, it's obviously, but just this aspect of really get it together and clean it and remove all the issues and basically enhance it and truly empower it, it will completely change your life. And this is basically example of this genius, how it operates, how I operate. And there are many different, like, it's almost like I can switch between geniuses and describe every one of them. But this particular one, it's almost like you have a field of intelligence. It's almost like this genius coming out of my eyes. It's not even just inside of my mind or just brain. It's just like pouring out of my eyes as my essence. This golden kind of light and energy. And everything going on with that light. There is no thought pattern, there is nothing, and everything going on that light that you don't even perceive with your mind. You don't really, and you don't need to. That's the whole thing. You think that you only have this mind, but there are so many different levels of what you can do with your brain that you can actually, well, again, genius itself is basically mind, unique mind of itself, almost like, it's almost like the way it operates. They enhance each other, they can unite and operate as one unit. But this genius, for example, every genius, they're so unique and so powerful that they almost can operate by itself. And if you would actually try to bring it and unite it with mental mind that everyone have, you would immediately shut it down and basically slow it down to the degree that it would not be a genius that much. Because mental is not designed really, it's powerful, you can do a lot of stuff, but it's super slow, incredibly slow, like compared to mind of a genius. You can do a lot of stuff to enhance it and all kind of stuff. And again, it needs to be open and free. And there are all kind of stuff that you can do with it still. But on the level that average person have it, it's basically like a carriage without horse. Like it's barely anything. Like it's barely functioning in terms of what it can do and what it can actually achieve. So perception, all the activity, all the stuff, all the thinking going on in that light, and you can't really define it and describe it fully in terms of like what's going on, because the speed is almost instant. Like I cannot perceive the speeds. I see the activity and I see the result basically instant. Result always instant. So plus in this field of intelligence, there are many things, different scenarios, different topics, different ideas, different kind of projects at the same time. I can perceive them and see them and think about them and think through them and create them at the same time without losing anything. And average mind is basically just one thing at the same time, and that's it. And it's barely even there. You can't even hold it properly. But with this, I don't even, and it's effortless. That's the whole thing. Like I'm not focusing, I'm not imagining, I'm not doing anything. It's there all the time. And because this is my field, this is almost like just a blueprint of my reality or interface of my reality, because I'm always aware of my projects, all of them. And it's not, I don't even need to like, okay, I'm gonna look at this project. Like I don't need to look, because it's in my perception, it's in my intelligence, in this field of intelligence. I already know what's going on there. I already know everything that I want to know about it. I already can, I already create everything that I want to create with it at the same time. And yet I have a bunch of them at the same time. And I can shift them, and it works automatically with this genius. It's basically, I don't need to do anything. It's almost like effortless. It's not almost effortless, completely effortless. It's actually pleasant. It's almost like pleasant sensation and energy that in your brain radiates with healthy, almost like positive energy. And plus with this genius, it basically, this is where using your fuller potential with the brain comes in, because he uses two sides of the brain. So in a real thing, in a real full way. And in a real full way, it's not, I've never heard anyone talking about it properly, because for example, everyone talks about left side of the brain is mental, right? This is just like, I've heard it many times, this is just accepted truth But to be honest with you, left is actually creativity. Like for me, it's not like I come up with some kind of theory with some kind of test and all kind of stuff. I just feel it. Like this is actually my brain. I know what's doing what, you know. So even that area is under question. Where did they come up with that? Like I don't know where they come up with that. I never really studied their garbage or this psychology and all this stuff. But this is accepted fact and truth that this is how it is. But I'm telling you, all the creativity coming from the left, and I just feel it. It's happening all the time. And when that happens, all your thoughts, when you fully turn it on, all your thoughts become enhanced with this beauty and richness of not just creativity. Everybody thinks like painting and stuff like that. It's just like creative thought. Like it's almost like with mental mind, you just almost like got like a backbone of a thought. There's no meat on it. There's nothing really going on in terms of it's really blank. Okay, it's logical and basically gray and kind of. There's no colors. There is no richness. You might have powerful thoughts and stuff like that, like no question. But in general, the way it operates, the way you operate, it's really mental, just basically information and stuff like that. And like again, there are many different variations of what can go into it, and depending on again, there's so many different variations. Just mental mind is so big in terms of what's going on. But when you have this full brain, all your thoughts become basically enhanced, and your whole mind and brain becomes enhanced with this just beauty and awesomeness. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like every thought is just filled with energy, filled with aliveness, and basically there is not just a gray backbone anymore. It's like fully like a vibrating, juicy, like alive, completely different thought, like in terms of just, and it's so pleasant to think like that. It's so pleasant to actually have a mind and brain that operates on that kind of level with that kind of stuff, because it's so pleasant. It's so like fun immediately. And every thought, it's everything you do, everything you create with it becomes like super fun and super rich. And it's never plain and it's never boring. It's almost like everything is fun and everything is awesome and everything is genius. And this is like so amazing. Like and basically you have this brain and this mind and this genius, and it's basically almost like awesomeness, feeling of awesomeness and effortlessness, and just like you want to do stuff with it. And it's not like you just want to do stuff with it. That's the whole thing. A project, it's basically pouring out with abundance of ideas and stuff that you want to do, and basically you just want to do stuff, and when you do it, it's even more awesome that you feel in the brain. It's like there is no such a thing as forcing yourself. This is all like primitive garbage, like of the really primitive brain and mind person. Like on the higher level, when you get to it, it's just amazing. It's just like no matter what you're gonna do, just if you just do nothing, it's amazing. It's literally that awesome. It's just like it's almost like smile, massive smile, like in this golden like light and energy, and it's so rich, and it's basically all, and your brain vibrating too with it. It's not like some kind of just mind concept. It's like brain. It's like physical sensation of awesomeness and energy, and it's all effortless at the same time. And it's almost like you never really know. I mean, it's like basically, if you have something like that, I mean, obviously your life has changed, but this particular genius, I turned on fully just today, basically. So, well, kind of today, but there are stages. There are many things that I'm working on, and many things that I can turn on and turn off. Well, after you fully turn on, you cannot turn it off, but when I work on every genius, I always work just on that genius. I never blend all geniuses because it's gonna be a mess and they really don't like it. Like, I'm serious. Like Da Vinci would never allow Michelangelo to come in or Tesla to come in because he says like, yeah, I'm Da Vinci. I don't need anything. I want to do Da Vinci and that's it. Like I'm have infinite potential, and they want to do just Da Vinci style everything. Like they really would never. They're always against it, and I completely understand it, and I'm fine with it because it's so awesome. You can create like this creation or that creation with this genius or with that genius. Like it's awesome, and it's going to be completely different, unique, but it's still going to be like flying car or whatever, like whatever they create. So when I operate on and build or specifically like, because there, you know, there, it's a whole thing how to actually make it happen and stuff like that. But basically, when I focus on it, I always focus just on one thing until it's fully operational and fully done, and then I can shift it and focus on another thing. And that's how I was doing it. So this is a new one, and it's so unique. Like all of them, so unique, and all of them incredibly amazing. You just, if you have one, you would be the happiest person ever, like ever, no question about it. You would not want anything else, seriously. But this genius, but it's like, it's just like undescribable too. It's like, it's almost like, just the fact that you have this amazing feeling of awesomeness and basically effortlessness, just massive. Because it's basically changes everything in terms of how you work and how you operate, and like businesses or stuff that you want to do, just changes everything. Plus, it's so genius because it's genius. It's not like you want to do garbage with it, because he actually wants to do certain things. He wants to do certain things in a certain way. Like, it's not like I'm going to be, oh, I'm radiating with this energy, I want to do stuff, and you just do some kind of garbage like social media posting stuff and stuff like that. It's not like that, like at all, like watching YouTube with it. Like it's not like that. You just want to create and stuff, and basically he already knows everything. Everywhere you want to go, everywhere if there is a website or whatever, or the project, he's already done. Like already created, already know how it's, and you just basically do it. It's like, and again, with mental mind, it's almost like it's not like you can't really comprehend it, but it's like, I don't even need to. That's the whole thing. And this is very, very hard for people. It would be very hard for people to understand. How is that even possible? How you can operate? It's almost like mind, you don't use it, but yet all the stuff going on, and basically you just create and operate and do whatever stuff, and yet it's like all the stuff is going on without it. Again, when you need to translate it or into words and stuff like that, then probably and stuff like that. But it's like the speed and quality and this feeling of awesomeness, and just the fact that all two parts of the brain operational, and they create this amazing feeling and sensation, and basically this almost like awesome mind. Almost like it's so pleasant to be in your mind. Okay, now it enhances my mind because it's new. As I said, like it's new, so it's like still happening stuff. So now it enhances my mind. So it's really pleasant to be in that mind. It's really pleasant. When you're just in the mental mind, it's just nothing really going on. It's like nothing there. It's like, but there it's almost like aliveness and energy and all color golden stuff in it that is going on. And it's really pleasant to be in your head, to be pleasant in your mind, and just because all two parts of the brain operational, it creates this incredible, almost like a experience. Like it's like when you think about thinking and basically mind, there's not like much of experience. It's like nothing really there, like in terms. But this is like actual awesome experience to be in that mind and to have that genius and to actually do stuff with it. It's actual pleasant and rich, incredibly rich and powerful experience. It's not something that really light and just barely there. It's super strong that it's actually part of your real experience. Like you feel basically, yeah, like it's almost like real stuff going on. It's not some kind of little thing, mental stuff, like somehow. It's rare, it's completely different experience, basically. So it's almost like thinking without thoughts, the way this genius operates. Like the speed is instant and basically there is no need to vocalize anything. It's almost like you can operate and think and create and basically comprehend and perceive just without thoughts, and that's what creates this like massive speed. And basically, and again, it's completely effortless at the same time with all the stuff that you can do. So this is basically just example of just one genius, how it operates, so we can have a perception, at least. And every one of them, every genius got completely different description. It would be, if I would describe someone else, it would be completely different. And it's almost like this genius got its own, not like personality or something, but it's definitely got its own kind of intelligence, and intelligence so genius, so massive, that it's basically, he reacts and he actually, almost like a second part of you, that you can actually say that, yeah, this is like significant part of me that actually almost like independent. But yet it always basically worked the same, but it got his own things that he want to do, and he reacts in certain things. Or for example, if I'm just kind of jumping into replying someone or doing something, he will stop me. And basically, because he's a genius, he already knows it's the wrong way. He's already knows that and then I kind of look at it. Oh, actually, yeah, it makes sense. I don't want to do it. I immediately understand why he's saying, why he's got this reaction. So this almost all instant communication and just connection all the time going on. Like it's not something separate. It's still part of me, but it's so rich and so unique and so powerful that I can actually just automatically go somewhere and he will stop me and no. He will not say no, but I immediately know why he's doing that, and that would be, yeah, that makes sense. Like that was a stupid idea. You know what I mean? So basically, and again, that by itself is so amazing to have. And all genius is basically like that. If I would actually describe any one of them, they have their own personality, their own everything, their own things they want to do, their own intelligence, their own basically guidance. They will actually stop you and tell you, not tell you, but some of them depends, but you will immediately know why they stop you or they lead you to this direction or that direction. And that's the beauty of genius. That's the whole thing. Like I've never heard anyone, like no one would ever actually describe genius as something that would be so genius that it would actually actively tell you stuff, like or stop you, and you would say, oh, that was my genius, stop me from doing that. It's like never unheard of, basically. But again, when I develop my geniuses, I develop it to the full potential. So a lot of geniuses who lived, they when you don't focus on it, basically what they had was just natural. Well, Tesla developed it in the beginning, but it was like, you know, it's he got it basically. He got it from birth. So a lot of them, a lot of geniuses got it from birth, and they cannot take it for granted, like a lot of people have their mind for granted. They're just like, well, I can create a book, or I can do this. It just like comes natural for them, and there's nothing special about it. But I've never heard anyone, okay, so this is genius, I need to develop it, how it works, and you just break down in all the parts and basically, okay, so it doesn't work here, so I need to like reconfigure this and basically enhance that, and basically just how do you make it work 100%, like blown up, like, and this is what happens. It's like I've never seen, but again, those big three geniuses, they have it kind of like, even though still they didn't have a ability, or it was not the time for them to fully express their potential in terms of like Michelangelo and Da Vinci. They really, there was no electricity, there was nothing much to do in terms of expressing their full potential, in terms of what they can achieve and what they can create. So what they did was just what they could, like statues and art and stuff like that. But you can tell that they're like genius like no other. But, and everybody would think that, yeah, that's pretty much who they were, but they were not at all. Because now when I have it, you will see what they can do, and it's completely unlimited. Inventions that you cannot imagine. The unlimited creations and technology that basically just no limits to what they can do, and size is unlimited. Just breathtaking sizes, and just magnitude and grandiose, and basically like nothing ever seen. Basically, this is so they really did not have, they didn't have full, like in terms of chance to fully express their full potential. So when I developed my geniuses and I uncover it and basically turn it on and things like that, I always turn it on to the full potential. And so this is just one genius that I described in terms of like how it operates and how it operates and how it does things. But this is just basic description, because, you know, it's almost like he's got this unlimited golden potential or energy. Oh, and the beauty of it, it's universal. It doesn't really, it's not like in one area, just music or just poems. And this is the most powerful stuff that I actually always focused and try to achieve, this universal genius and universal abilities and mastering everything, because I needed that to achieve my goals with the world and everything else. So, and this genius is completely universal. It doesn't care about like where you want to be using it, like writing poems or this or that. It's like he's always be genius at the same way, in the same way in all areas. And that's the most amazing genius basically to have, but basically genius at everything at the same time. And this is what I always wanted to get and have and was focusing on. And all geniuses, true geniuses, basically like Michelangelo, Da Vinci, they're basically like that too. They just have unlimited potential that they can use, put anywhere. Tesla is more like electrical genius. Like the way it works, just completely electric. But I will talk about it later in another conference. But basically, this is how it works. But the main idea, if I would just get back to and compare it to average people, there is a massive potential, every human mind and brain, that they still have without even all this genius enhancement. That if they would untap it and unlock it, which they can do. I know exactly how to do because I've done it too. No one would question or doubt that you would be a genius for them, like the way you operate and think and what you can do and all the stuff, because this massive potential that you have. Because again, everyone just average just using 3% of the potential, which is nothing. It's just basically nothing, just shadow of itself. And then again, the brain of a average person again looks like a dried plum. It's not even a fully operational organ. And the reason why it's because you don't really use it for anything, like in terms of its full potential. So there is no need for a brain to be big and strong and basically heavy and basically full and stuff going on there. So it's in deep degradation as an organ, because everything that you do, everything that the average person does, brain can do it like easily, so easily. He's basically asleep all the time. Like there's nothing really like to do, unless you do P-memory and stuff like that. Then it's like you really force it and basically do stuff with it and build the muscles, but it's still different what I'm talking about. So this is basically the genius I wanted to tell you about, the new one. So what kind of questions you have? There's like so much I can talk about this genius, that they're so different and so unique, and there's like the way they operate and the qualities is just mind-blowing. Again, like if I would start to describe Michelangelo, I'm gonna wait for Michelangelo. When I'll do it as Michelangelo, and you will see. It will blow you away, because there is nothing like it. The size, just nothing like it, and Da Vinci too, and Tesla too, basically, and completely unique. You would think that geniuses have all these similarities, but you can say that they have similarities, but they achieve those similarities with completely different ways. So they geniuses, they give them certain things that are similar in terms of thinking speed and stuff like that. But again, when I look at Michelangelo, it's just like not even, thinking speed does not even apply. It's like, does not even apply in terms of describing his genius. Like it's so beyond thinking speed or anything that you can even put into definition. Like just undescribable. I mean, I can describe it, but it would be a whole different thing. I don't want to mix it all up. So this is the example of the genius. But again, like you need to understand that you have a brain that is basically a mind that is just off all the time. That's basically the whole thing. And the whole idea that you need to actually work it out and constantly, like there's certain areas in the beginning when you need to develop it and build it in the right way, but there is a time you can get to the level when you don't have to anymore at all. And then everything is just effortless, and it just works and sticks, and just happens. And everyone got this massive potential between their ears. But again, it's just off, literally. There are no other description that I can give you. It's just completely off. And plus there is so much noise and garbage going on that you don't really use even what you have, because all these thoughts and ideas and dialogues and inner conflicts and beliefs and limitations degraded to such a degree that you really operate on such a small scale, such a small window with such a small weakened thoughts and attention and all this quality of the mind, like creativity and stuff like that. That is basically, if you would just remove garbage, it would be completely different. Like completely different, massive enhancement. It would be immediate, but it would still be just 3%. But even with those 3%, there's no control over the mind. It's like you can't really focus on even certain things. It's like you focus on one thing, but there's like so much energy, so much potential of your brain, of your mind is used against you, against that task, for example. And again, I'm not even talking about right now about this unconscious stuff that is going on, that you want to think about that, and then it just like got reflected, and you think about and you think into out of direction and don't even notice it. This is like such a massive disadvantage. Like, so in terms of achieving your goals and everything and your potential, like it's really long and really hard. You might do very hard work to achieve something, but if you would have just a clean like mind or brain that is just turned on, it would be it could be just easily and instant, because you would immediately see how you need to do it, and you just don't see it with that kind of mind that is just turned off and does not even allow you to think in that direction for whatever reasons. So this is basically what's going on. And there are many areas and topics we can talk about. It's massive. The subject is just so huge. Like, that's the whole thing. I don't even know where to go with it, because it needs to be defined and described one by one. But this is basically the situation. So what's the question? If you have any.
The training, you talk about, how does an average person kind of get over the hump to get to that?
Get over hump?
Yeah, what's the training to get to the genius or semi-genius level?
Oh, this is a whole different thing.
Oh.
Like, there are many things that needs to be done, and basically I'm starting a different project soon, and it will be all about that. And P-Memory will be just a product in that project. Mm-hmm. But you need to complete P-Memory in order for you to get to the next level. And the next level would be, I will announce it soon because it's like, it's so massive, that it's so amazing that I just want to, finish it, and in terms of getting it right. But it will completely change whole humanity, basically. It would be just a completely different human if you would actually turn it on, the stuff that I'm going to be teaching how to turn on. I am not even talking about the genius that I described. I'm talking about something so amazing, so huge, so powerful, that basically no one even can imagine that it's possible. But it's almost like right now you have calculator, and it would be like quantum computer. It's so different and so powerful that you will not be able to use P-Memory. P-Memory will immediately become obsolete. And I'm gonna be having a new P-Memory called P-Memory Pro that would be functioning on this new computer. You will not be able to use old P-Memory. It would be just like very unnatural, very slow. You would not even want to. And it's basically going to be completely different mind. So for example, when you close your eyes right now, what do you see? Nothing. It's just off. And that's what everyone needs to understand. It's basically, you've got a laptop with the screen off. So that's basically the situation. This is what's going on with your mind. So, and we're gonna turn it on, and no one knows what's gonna be happening after that, because it will blow you away. You would never want to leave that mind. Literally, I'm not even kidding. You don't have to. It will be very few exercises, but it will be just completely different idea, completely different project, completely different everything. After it's on, you will not need to work it out and basically like do exercises. It's on and it's on. That's it. And you would not want to leave that mind. The stuff that you will be able to do there is unheard of, basically. And that's what I'm saying. It will be a different type of human. Just everyone else would be just a bunch of monkeys compared to that person who have it. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. The potential, it's so massive and so different and so huge and so incredible and it's so amazing that you probably would just sit in your mind for days just because the stuff that is going on there and stuff that you will be doing, and you would not even want to go to the internet or watch YouTube or do whatever else, because it's so amazing and so much stuff that you can do, literally. Because again, it's just simple as that. Your mind is off. It's just simple as that. And no one knows how to turn it on. And everybody thinks that this is how it should be. A laptop with screen off. Like this is like normal. This is what you told me in the beginning. Like normal. This is normal mind. Yeah. This is not normal. It's not even on. Okay. So it's almost like you bought a computer and you use it as some kind of like a foundation for a flower. Like you don't even turn it on. You don't even know that you can go to the internet. You use it as some kind of holder for a flower, and you call it normal. It's like part of the furniture. This is basically what all you have is leftovers of the mind and the brain, and it will be the way everything will be just completely redefined, and basically it's unheard of, basically, and it's going to be completely revolution, because like again, person with that kind of stuff is just unheard of. What you will be able to do and what you can do, just unthinkable stuff, unthinkable, like unimaginable. So this is basically what I'll be doing soon. And then I'm just, again, I'm doing so many projects at the same time. I just need to do everything in right order. But you will have to complete P-Memory to actually join that. Fully complete P-Memory, all 60 lessons. If not, then there's no point. I mean, I just will not accept you. It will work because I can do it with anyone. Because it's based on such a different principles, on such a different, just everything. It's just so unheard of, such a different design and basically idea and concepts and everything, and the way I will be doing it. It will be just unheard of, basically. Just everything is unheard of, like about it. It's like everything about it is just completely unknown, completely unheard of. And no one even knows, no one even think in that area that something like this can be possible. But again, you have this potential. You have only 3% of the brain, 3% of the mind, and it's fucking off. Okay, it's just black screen. Okay, so obviously something is there that is just so massive and so amazing, and it's so there, and so it's there. Like obviously it should be there. Like why would you have such a brain? For 3%, you would have like this brain, like literally. Like you would not for 3%. Like why would you have this? So it's like, but this is what the people use this much. So obviously it's there. Obviously it's possible. Obviously something is there. Obviously it's off. But no one knows what's gonna be happening when you turn it on and how to turn it on. So this is basically my next thing that I will be doing in this field of intelligence and brain. And again, P-Memory immediately will be obsolete, like immediately. Like you will not be able to, it would be something like again, calculator stuff. Like it's like, it would be like every time with any kind of old computer, when you go to the new processors and new architecture of the computer, you have to upgrade the software because it doesn't work on the new one. You need to have different software. So brain will be working on a completely different scale, completely different speeds and levels that unheard of. It's going to be like a quantum computer, like unlimited power. And mind will be completely different because of that. Completely different mind, nothing like it. Because right now, you don't have anything. You don't have mind. You just got off, like, oh, turn off screen. That's it. That's your mind. And you do stuff with it. And that's, by the way, the reason why you constantly need to force stuff with it, if you think about it. Because and it's like visualizing kind of effort, and well, it's like nothing really going on like effortlessly by itself. Like you also need to kind of like do stuff with it. Well, I mean, there are many different levels and things that you can do and stuff like that. But when it's on, it's completely different experience of mind. There's no effort of anything. Like there's no need for it because you have this brain, like with the computer, you don't need to like with effort move folders like on the screen or like with effort kind of like do stuff and click on the, like there's no, computer does everything. It's effortless. You can move it and you can click and you can do whatever you want. And it's effortless in terms of working with software. So with the mind, it will be exactly the same thing. It will be completely different mind. It will be three-dimensional and it will go into, it will be, you will have space in it. Right now it's just off, but you're going to have like, almost like three-dimensional space in it. Like you're going to have like depth in it. And there's all kind of stuff going on. I don't want to get into it because I start to describe it and I feel that it started to turn on and I don't want to go there right now. So because I'm working on other stuff. But it's amazing. The moment, just the feeling of it, the way I felt it right now. Colors. Like, all right, so I'm not going to describe it because it's so amazing that, again, you will be there. You would not want to go to the internet. You would not want to do anything because you would just be exploring. It would be just like a miracle. It would literally be like a miracle. Like you would be exploring it for a long time because it's like so much stuff completely new, some completely different, like you would be in amazement of what's going on and what's happening and what you can do with it. It will not even remotely have any similarities to what you have now. Not even remotely, not even a little bit. Like completely different type of human we're talking about. Completely different. Like this is what I call genius-like. Because there will be no other question. There is no other definition for other people. No one will be able to even imagine what will be going on in your mind. Like they will not even have a concept like you don't have right now with your mind turned off of what's going on when you have full-blown three-dimensional like mind. Again, I don't want to describe it because it's so amazing. That's the whole thing. It feels so amazing too. You're gonna have this feeling of, because it turns on, but it's just, nothing will be the same after that. Literally, nothing will be the same. And the stuff that you can do and learn speeds and basically it's completely different. Everything will be learning and everything. It will be completely different. It's not even like, here's the thing. I just looked at it again. It's like undescribable, almost like unlimited potential, basically. Like, I don't even want to describe it. Like I will have a separate conference and everything just about that when I fully describe it and you will actually understand how it works. And the way it works, just the way you train it and how you turn it on, it's completely different philosophy, completely different everything. You really need to understand everything about brain and mind and body to turn it on. So, and this is what I will be doing. and I can give you first exercise. I'm not going to give you the actual exercise, but the first exercise will be, you will turn on your whole neural network, all your neurons. And it will be really simple exercise, just one exercise. You do it, and then like your brain blows up and all your neurons turns on, and now you can operate and think with your whole neuron network. We're talking about potential of thought and everything that you cannot even imagine, because you think with just one neuron and one thought pattern, and just like one. This is basically how you operate, like thought pattern, like neuron patterns. That's how you operate. No one can imagine what's going to happen when you turn on full-blown network of neurons and your whole brain just lights up. And now you can actually, when you think from that point, because you use your full neuron network, like full power. Like, and this is just one exercise. This is just the beginning of it. And there will be levels and stuff like that, but this is just nothing. This is just first thing. And and it will be really real, really practical, really, you will not be doing anything in terms of like, oh, I'm doing it for 5 years and nothing going on and I don't know when it's going to happen and stuff like that. You will always know what is missing. You will always know. So, okay, you need to reach this level, and it will be, you will be doing exercise, and you know that, okay, so I'm halfway there, or 70% there, or 80% there, and then you will reach it, and it's just, and this is basically how all these exercises will work. It always will be something remarkably massive. And at the end, you will actually get and develop this final thing that I'm describing. It's nothing like the memory. It's like, again, after, you need to have the memory to join there and be part of it. But after that, you will never get back to the memory. Like not even remotely, it will be necessary. But you are going to have new version of it, which will be using principles, but it will be different, like very, very effortless and completely different, basically. So.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
So every time I listen to one of your videos or watch one of your videos, it takes me like 3 or 4 days because my mind is just on fire with ideas. And I can't wait to just process everything you just said with the thinking without the words. It's all like energetic. And there's just, you said so much, it's going to take a while to process it. But thank you.
Next time, get a better connection though, because we barely understood anything. Even though I have a genius mind.
Okay.
But right. I understood some of it and stuff like that. Yeah, that's good. Here's the thing about understanding. Well, I don't want to get into it much, because basically especially when I talk about spiritual stuff, 80% of the information is basically gone. Like people just not even from the pause and stuff like that. I will make a post about it. They just like, this is not the information that you need to actually study it. You need to basically expand your mind to actually fully grasp it. Because I've seen many times, like people, oh yeah, I read your post, and they ask me question that was answered in the post. Like I've seen it so many times. It's like, what's the point of you reading it even? Like, it's like, what are you talking about? Or the person like saying, oh, you said this and this and this, and completely corrupted everything I said and turned it into some kind of primitive garbage that I didn't even think or didn't even say. Like, and they say, oh yeah, I understand. And you said this and this and this, and he completely corrupted it. Like, and turn it into some kind of garbage that I didn't say. So he tried to basically belittle it into his level and corrupted it and to degrade it into some kind of primitive garbage that not even close what I was saying or was trying to teach and talk about. And basically, you cannot do that. You need to actually study for what it is and expand your mind and actually grasp it fully. That's basic. So if you got all kind of ideas and stuff going on, it actually means you're on the right path. Because there's some people, they're so delusional and so like arrogant with their ideas that they're so smart and they understood and they read it all. But they actually, when you actually get to the facts and actually talking about it, it's immediately clear that they not even remotely understood anything. Like it's like they ask questions that just basically answered in multiple posts. It's like you just, there's no point to read for just Mark. I read it all just to tell me. I read all your posts. Oh, wow. Like, and missed 90%. Like, what's the point? So you're on the right path if this is going on, because this is exactly going on. Because when this is going on, it means you're growing. In their case, growth is zero, basically, because they think they understood everything. They completely degraded everything to their primitive level, corrupted everything, turned it into some kind of delusional garbage and a lie, and they think they got it. So the growth is actually just not happening at all in this situation. So in your case, it's amazing. I'm actually happy to see it. It's refreshing because from the post, it's like I was like really disappointed in many different ways. But yeah, it's amazing. It's gonna be amazing. Anything else? And there are many things for the brain. That's the whole thing. When we will get to the actual brain training and stuff like that, there will be special stuff that you will have to take. Supplements, not supplements in the way that you think. There's certain substances and stuff that you will have to take to actually grow the brain to the full potential, to the full. So you have full, like rich brain that is actually full of substance, not just degraded, this plum that is basically dried up and like dead, okay, like barely nothing there. So this training will have a physical aspect, but also will have completely unheard of aspect, which is, I don't want to get into it, but it will blow you away. It has, basically everything about it is completely unheard of and completely new, like completely new. You can forget about brain training. Like, here's the thing, nothing comes close to P-memory when it comes to brain training or or memory training, even right now, like compared to other stuff. Like, it's all basically irrelevant, some kind of games and some kind of trainings that you still can't memorize books. You still don't build the brain muscles in a way that you build it with the memory. So no one really reached even that level in terms of like P-memory, what P-memory can give you. But what I will be doing and announcing and basically launching, it's completely unheard of, like almost like different species of humans will be happening after that. Literally, there's just nothing, there's no other way to describe it. It's like, I don't know how else would you describe it. And this is how real humans should be, basically, by design. It should be on, for sure. You would never have this big brain. You would not have a, you would have like small one if it, for 3%, you don't need more. So obviously there's massive potential, and we will be just turning it on. That's the whole thing. And that was my dream, actually. I knew the potential was there for a long time. And this is besides geniuses and stuff like that. This is, again, geniuses are addition to the brain. But this stuff comes with every single brain. Every single human have that. And that's what makes it so amazing, too. Because I can turn it on. I can teach anyone to memorize books, as I did. But with this stuff, I can actually turn it on and teach them to do this new mind stuff. And it's not like even teach, but it's partial. There's not much of a training going on. There are not many exercises. It will be just doing something completely different to turn it on. So everyone have it, and everyone can get it, literally. But you need to have it. It will just work better if you have a healthy brain, in terms of just in some kind of shape. Not you're like some kind of fat dude that just barely can focus on for 5 seconds. I just don't like to work with people like that. It's like you know, it's some kind of, you know, you need to be in certain shape. Then it will be fun, and it will be really powerful, and it will be really fast. That's the whole thing. It will not take long. That's another thing. The exercise that, and it's really hard for me to say how much it will take, because when I was designing this exercise to turn neurons, I'm not gonna design it, and I'm just trying it, and I see, okay, so they're gonna have problem here and here, and then it's just like boom and turn on. Like that's it. Like I didn't do any kind of exercises. I don't need to. I just kind of tried it, and for me it already turned on. So but for you, you will have to build it and basically do the actual exercise, and it will be like exercise in terms of neural training and stuff like that. But for me, like for me it would be experiment, because many things would be interesting for me to see what it will do and how it will do and how much time it will take, because for me it's just so instant. Like I don't need training. Like I designed the exercise, it just like immediately works, you know, to its full potential. So
That's awesome. I'm just like I'm so grateful for this. This is amazing.
yeah, it will be amazing.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I mean, the potential is so massive and so unlimited with every direction you go with the brain and mind. It's just like you literally haven't scratched the surface, like at all, in terms of your potential, in terms of how you live your life. Because any kind of enhancement in any kind of proper adjustment, it will really change your life, because you're constantly using your mind and brain for everything. Like literally, you're constantly making decisions for everything, literally. And if you enhance the quality, and when I talk about, let's say, thinking speed, when I say thinking speed to someone about, oh, you're going to enhance your thinking speed, they would think that, oh, I already think fast. And they think about these dialogues and stuff and the garbage that's flying around and because it's so fast. And this is not the thinking speed I'm talking about. I'm talking about thinking speed that basically that provides result. And this is what I'm talking about. The think and basically conceive and perceive and basically create on such a speed that the result is instant. That's the thinking speed I'm talking about. This is not like garbage fast. There's no point. It's better to slow it down and turn it off. And there is a massive potential in terms of what you can do with all kind of ways how to adjust it and enhance it, because any kind of real adjustment and enhancement will really change your life. You cannot even imagine. It's almost like the intelligence itself is such a huge thing. No one really knows much about it, how it works, because you might be living your life and doing the same thing, and you think that this is the most efficient way, this is the most optimal way, and this is the right way, this is the way to do it, and this is the only way to get money from here, get money from there, and stuff like that. But the moment you turn on something real and significant, you would immediately see all the possibilities and all the things that you would never be able to see before. So you have all your potentials and all your opportunities right in front of your nose, and you will not be able to see it, and therefore you will not be able to take advantage of it. But with the enhancements, you will immediately see it, and you will be like, why don't I do that like this way? And it will be so obvious. And it happened to me like a few days ago when I turned on different Genius, and it works in a completely different way. And I'm just like in my daily life, and it's like I'm just, well, wait. Or you can think ahead of time to make your life easier. Like, for example, so you do something on routine and basically don't even think about it. But if you do something ahead of time and you kind of predict it and do it, then it's just like easy. You just saved like 50% of your time, let's say, in certain cases, or 50% of effort, because it was so easy. So there are many things that you can do with intelligence. Intelligence is something that's so massive and so huge. And building intelligence, there are no really ways to build intelligence. Everyone thinks that this is basically learning in terms of data and information. And in some way it's true. But I see intelligence not only that. I always thought it as a fundamental mechanism. Because if you have fundamental mechanism, you can learn like 100 times or 500 times faster. You can get the same data all you want, like, or facts or knowledge or whatever. But if you build that mechanism and build that foundational intelligence, foundational ability, then you can apply it in any direction, everywhere, and you will be naturally making proper decisions 100 times better. That would change your life really rapidly. But you cannot achieve that by building intelligence with learning the way everyone else does it, with education and stuff like that. It enhances you for sure, but doesn't really improve and build and enhance. It improves and builds and enhances a little bit, to a certain degree, your basic intelligence in terms of apparatus, the way you operate. But in terms of thinking speed and basically quality of thoughts and basically seeing things clearly and see all the potentials and just making the right choice, seeing all possibility and making the right choice. This is basically the definition of a clean and clear mind that anyone would have as a minimum, should have as a minimum. Because when I look at my mind, it's completely clean and clear. There's nothing going on except stuff that I want to going on. It's just simple as that. And many geniuses, they just give this ability that when you look at life or your situation, or you look at this thing or that thing, you would think that, yeah, you see it clearly. Yeah, like, no problem. But then you get enhancement and you see it like so many different things that you didn't see. And only then you can realize, yeah, like I didn't see it and this is how it works. But because people have this average stuff and this is the only thing they have, they cannot even imagine that well to have something that would just make it like, you almost like, if I would just give you a genius, let's say, you would suddenly end up in different reality, but yet reality would be the same, but you would suddenly you're in different realities. Suddenly you can make money from this direction, make money from that direction. You can go do this, you can do that. But before that, you thought you're just stuck and there is no way to do anything. And this is what intelligence can give you. And building intelligence and basically just this general enhancement of intelligence in your brain and mind. So it's powerful and incredibly powerful and completely unknown And again, no, all these people, they really don't have 100% brain or two sides working properly or genius level or whatever else. So there is not much of a real information and real kind of stuff going on in terms of actual intelligence enhancement technologies or brain or mind enhancement technologies and stuff like that, let alone genius stuff. But for me, I've really focused on it because it was like very clear for me that I need to have the intelligence and everything else to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. Just simple as that. So I started like explored everything basically I could in terms of that. And again, it's all about the result, because anyone can tell you they studied this and that, but where is the result? Where's the practical result? And the result is always zero. So when it comes to actual real big things, but all I have is results, because that's the only thing I care. So that's the situation. Anything else?
No.
And the creation itself, it's almost like, you know, for example, just to give you another example of what's possible. And there was different genius. It was more like on completely different scale. And I was just washing dishes. And I was just laughing, not laughing. I was like, wow. And anyone would just look at me and think that, like, you know, what is he doing? But it was cities in space that I was creating on speed that you cannot even imagine. And it was all I could say, wow, simply because my mind was just clear. I was just washing dishes, but I didn't need, but it was on such a different level, on such a massive speed and scale, but I completely understood it all, but in a completely different way, and nothing was missing. And I saw the result and creation and how awesome it is and how incredible it is and how incredible it will be. And all just, I was like, wow. But if you would ask me at that moment, I would not even be able to tell you properly. I would have to actually break down and basically decode it, and, you know, because it's so massive and so huge on like space, cosmic scale, that it just basically, it would take me hours to describe one small thing. But this is basically how it is for me, basically. Like, it's like stuff that no one can imagine, basically, what I can do now. It's like not even remotely. What is possible? It's not even what I can do, what even anyone can do with their brain on. And this is basically what's going on in terms of that. All right. So any last questions?
No, I'm looking forward to it, for sure.
Well, if you finished, you need to complete your memory. I'm not sure if you finished it or what, but it will be soon. So.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thanks, Ruslan. Next time.
All right, guys.
All right. See you
I will
guys.
talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you, Rose.
See you, man.
Bye.
So basically, what I wanted to add was how it will. I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't plan to. But since I started, I just want to add this piece to the video. So it will be done through, not just through training, it will be also done through DNA activation, certain parts of the DNA. And it will also be done through connecting it properly and turning on the whole mechanism of a spine. So basically it will be connected to the spine, and there will be additional activation in DNA in certain parts, and that will turn on the whole mechanism, because you're going to need additional energy for the brain. Right now, basically, when it comes to the brain is basically always hungry, and you constantly need to feed it. You constantly need to feed it. And basically, you always have lack of energy, like in everything you do. You constantly need to eat. If you don't eat for a day, basically, you're going down in terms of your energy, especially if you use your brain actively, or you just doing something real, not just sitting watch TV. So there's like lack of energy, and there is no energy for the brain, really. And so you cannot do anything big and powerful, and if it's based only on food-based energy. So the way I did it, I just plug it into the spine. And the way this is how it's supposed to be. Like, it's not like I did it. This is how it's not supposed to be by design. So and that gives the unlimited energy to the brain. And basically, you don't have to worry about effort of any kind after that in terms of brain. Like all the activities, all the things that you will be doing with the brain, just effortless, simply because there is like unlimited energy, and the whole mechanisms of the body works properly. And plus the DNA, certain stuff that needs to be activated, which is unheard of too, turns on all the interfaces and basically mind stuff and everything else that comes with it. So it's completely different design, completely different idea, completely different project, but it all makes perfect sense. Like, it's all operational and basically functioning and all ready to go in terms of like already have everything in terms of the system and techniques and exercises and how all will be done. So this is basically how it works, the whole mechanism.
That's awesome. So we just plug in the spine, or the brain into the spine.
Not just how do you do it? It's like impossible to do. How do you even begin? It's already plugged in. It's not like your head is disconnected.
No.
I'm just saying it will be source of energy coming from spine also.
Oh, cool.
Not just like from food. So that's what I wanted to add.